I'm Gwinnetta Wright.
And I'm Deontay B.
And welcome to Gwen's Business Corner with Deontay B. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
We're back.
We are back.
We've been in tax season full effect this year. So we've been away from Facebook a little while, but we are back.
Yes, and just in time to get ready for spring. It is on the way.
Right, but not just spring. It'll be your birthday in a couple of weeks.
It will. We are on our way to Vegas
in
10 days.
Yes, girl. Yes. We need that vacation, boo.
Yes, we do. And speaking of vacations, today's topic, we are talking about being photogenic. And, you know, when I think about it, I just remember you just hated taking photos back in the day. I would have to fight you to take a picture.
You know, I hate taking photos still today, for real, y'all. But what I had to learn, and this is for like my entrepreneurs who are really trying to build a brand, and I think a lot of people have problems with this. I used to hate the way I look on camera, and I used to really literally fight them or get mad at them when they wanted me to take pictures. But then when I decided I wanted to involve in my career,
right,
I decided that it was a must because social media was here. Instagram was all about pictures, and I knew that in order for me to grow the brands that we had, I knew that I had to change my mindset as far as photos. Exactly. And so when I do photos, and it's just a tidbit for people who hate taking photos, might not like the way they look. When I do photos, I think of it as a part of my job.
Right.
So I think of it as a part of my job. Even though I don't want to do it, I know it's necessary for what I'm trying to do and to make a profit. So I smile and I post and take pictures.
Yes, and you have to think about it's essential to being in business, being an entertainer. I mean, the list goes on. Like, it's something that you cannot get away from if you want to have a brand that really is
stand
successful.
out. Right.
Yes.
Right. I totally agree with that. And, you know, another tidbit for some of you who are trying to build a brand, get your headshot. You know, because we have got in media and we have to, you know, get guests for our show. I can't tell you how many people, and people who've been in business for a long time, do not have a professional photo. They think taking a picture with their phone is professional enough. They'd be cute little pictures sometimes, but when you think about what somebody have to use your picture for, nobody might not want the backgrounds that you have in your pictures. So definitely get a professional headshot. So I think this is a good topic, but you know, both our guests are artists in a sense, you know,
right.
And so being an artist and being a brand, photos are essential. So our first guest is going to be Mrs. Sharonda Janae. Sharonda is Mrs. Full Figure Georgia, and she's also a photographer. She's a plus size model. She's an author, and she's a speaker. Come on, Sharonda.
Welcome.
You're looking all
Hey,
you're like the queen.
The queen wrong, baby.
Hi guys, how are you?
We're fine. Welcome.
Yes.
To the corner.
I know, I feel so excited.
No, we got Tiger Pride.
Tiger Pride on the set.
So then we like to jump right into it. So we know that you're Mrs. Full Figure model.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not model, Georgia. Okay. So, but you also is a photographer.
I am.
So what was your inspiration in becoming a photographer?
Well, when I first started photography, I took pictures of flowers and trees on water, and I just wanted to, well, let's roll back. When I first bought a camera, I wanted to take a picture of my son. He was going to college, and he's in the Sonic Boom, and I just wanted to take a picture stretch way over there. Then I was like, well, I'm going to take pictures of water and flowers, and then my friends was like, you should take pictures of people. I'm like, no, because people talk. I don't want to take pictures. They talk. Can you make me look skinnier? Can you do my face? Can you?
Right.
Like, I don't want to do that. And then he was like, the trees don't pay you. Correct. Trees don't pay you. So I decided to get into a fashion photography, was what they call it, fashion photography. And it's actually been very helpful to me as a model because I get to be on both sides of the lens.
Right. Well, I think that would be interesting. Because that way, you know, you can see some, just from looking at other models, what more do's and don'ts of when it comes to photography.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So speaking of being in front of the camera and behind the camera, because we know that you're a model, as we can see. So we know you're on both sides. So what are some challenges that you have faced, especially starting out being in front of the camera and then also having to be behind the camera?
In front of the camera, when you're plus size, you have to know your body and you have to know your angles. Even a small size model, you have to know your angles. But it's a little bit more difficult as a plus size model because you have extra. You have to move a certain way, make sure you don't give too much of your hip or too much of your stomach or too much of your rolls. So you have to learn poses. And so in order to learn poses, one, you have to research, go to classes. There are plenty of model coaches out here who give posing classes. You can also go on YouTube and get model classes and learn how to pose. So posing and really finding what works well for your body is one thing. And then finding clothes that actually fit you well.
Right.
That's because if you have something on that's uncomfortable to you, if you feel uncomfortable in your clothes, it's gonna come across in your picture because you're like you be wiggling and stuff, and that's gonna come across. Being behind the camera is learning lighting, learning your camera, learning the actual craft of art. And you can do that as well by taking classes, master classes, going to college. You can actually learn on YouTube. Some people go to what I call YouTube University. And they learn
very helpful a lot of times.
Things of that nature, yes.
It is.
So you took photography and modeling to a whole another level by, I said level, another level by competing for Mrs. Full Figure Georgia.
Yes.
So what was your inspiration for that? And then tell us what were some of the stuff that you took to compete? Because I know a lot of people, especially as plus size people, a lot of times they be thinking, oh, I can't compete in a pageant. And they might not even know that there's different pageants out there for that size. So let them know, like, what did you do?
So the whole purpose or reason behind me doing the pageant is because I struggled with low self-esteem throughout my life. And I found ways to push myself and kind of just make myself see me. Okay. And so what I would do is I said, well, let me do modeling. And I laughed at myself. And so as I got involved in it, I saw this opportunity to be an audition to be Miss Full Figure Georgia. And I was just like, ooh, I'm going to do it. And so I went to the audition. They accepted me. I was just like, wow, I really stepped into it now. I ain't got no other choice. Now I have to go.
Right.
And so I just took moments and prepared myself. I made sure I was absolutely prepared for every step. That they had rules. You had a book. Basically, you had to read. I read that thing all the time. Made sure I was absolutely knowledgeable about everything I know, because knowledge is power.
Right.
And if you feel like you're slacking in some points, then you can make up for it in others if you read and you know what you're doing. So I made sure I was absolutely prepared. You have to get sponsors. You have to sell tickets. You have to... there's a fee you have to pay for, and they make it so that you have to get out in the community. When I first put on that bright pink sash, I would hide behind these glasses that had no lens. And I know you can see me through these glasses, but for me, it was a comfort thing.
Okay.
And I just put them on until one day I was just like, I'm hiding behind these glasses. I was like, let me take them off. And I was so scared. I was like, nope, gotta put them back on. And I was like, no, take them off. So I'm sitting here having a conversation with myself. And I would just go kicking and screaming to myself, I don't want to go in there because they're going to make fun of me because I have on this pink sash. And because it was people I didn't know. And I was just like, this is what you did this for. This is why you did this. Right. And so when I went out there, I went to different venues, different places, and people was like, they accepted me. I was shocked. It was just like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. And I was like, who, me?
Oh.
They was just like, yes, you're so pretty. Tell me more about the pageant. And that's how you got the word out, is telling more people about the pageant. Now having a crown and a sash, I'm still like, these people are gonna laugh at me. You got this big old crown on your head. And it's not been that at all. It's been actually very welcoming, let me learn more about what you have going on. And although the pageant has been around 31 years now, it just recently got to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So I am the first Miss Full Figure Georgia.
Okay.
And so we are gearing up for 2020. So there are delegates now. So we have a mentor program. So I mentored them. And then we have Miss Full Figure Alabama in the fall.
Okay. Amazing.
Yes.
Yes. And we can see the confidence is there now. Like,
Right.
You said you were hiding behind. You have taken those shades off. Like, look, I'm the queen with the crown. You know, and you can just see it, you know.
It's
You
an
can see
everyday
the glow.
It's an everyday struggle. It's not like you just put it on and you just automatically have
Right.
it. You have to choose to be positive. You have to choose to, and even on those days where you feel bad, and you look yourself in the mirror and you just start saying to yourself, I love you, you're great.
Right.
Things of that nature. When you find that you can't find words, you can always put on, everybody has a smartphone. You can put on your smartphone, put on YouTube, put on something that has positive affirmations that say it. And let it say it to you. Just look yourself in the mirror and you'll find that it makes you feel a lot better when you are positive.
Right.
I like that. And then I even like when you said that you went out with a sash. And I think that's a key component that people need to know when you talk about building a brand or going out there to get something done. Because you have to find something, they call it a unique selling proposition. And the thing about it is what makes you different than somebody else. And you have to find something that's going to make you stand out in order for you to be able to reach your goal. Because a lot of times with a lot of different brands and different things that you do, it's a lot of people that's doing the same thing. So what makes you stand out? And I think that was unique.
Yeah. Let's talk about your podcast, Model Mondays.
Yeah.
Because we know so many people say, I want a podcast, and they don't even know where to start.
Exactly.
So tell us how you developed the podcast, Model Mondays. And I mean, tell us about Model Mondays, because I know when I think about Model Mondays, but tell us about that.
So Model Monday Live came about because I was going to different casting calls, and I saw young ladies who just really were there and they knew nothing about what to actually expect.
Right.
And then I had a whole bunch of ladies in my inbox like, how do you become a model? How do you become a model? And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do a podcast about it. And I got a couple of local models with me, and they were jumped on board, and we just talk about modeling, the tips of modeling. I get special guests on who are big in the modeling industry.
Okay.
And we talk and ask them for their 5 do's and don'ts, their tips about how they come about modeling and what they would give a person who was just coming in. What would be your advice to them? And so we Facebook Live, much like this show, and they talk about modeling tips and going to casting calls and what to have in your model bag and what you should and should not wear to casting calls, your foundation, makeup, everything modeling from A to Z. That's what Model Monday Live is about.
I love it. It's much needed.
I was going to say, I bet you can relate.
I definitely relate.
It's crazy because, you have women who just see Instagram models and that's all they think about, but there's so much more. There's a broader aspect. You can just be a hand model.
Right.
Or you can just be a foot model. You don't necessarily have to be a runway model or a print model. There's a large variety. There's fit models. There's all kinds of modeling. And Model Monday Live basically educates the person or aspiring model who wants to be a model. It's used as an education tool.
I like it. I love it. So you talked about a little bit before I even got to this question, just because you talked about your experience. But give the viewers some advice, like, you say you struggle with, your self-esteem, but I'm sure struggling with your self-esteem, of course, probably led to some type of depression, because we all go through that, I think. So what would be some advice you would give to someone who wants to be a model or who's struggling with the way they look or, their self-esteem is low? What advice would you give to them?
First thing is, if you don't know God, find God. Like, you are not going to be able to go anywhere in life without the Lord.
Hallelujah.
So you have to be able to pray and ask God for guidance. That is going to be your absolute first best friend, the Lord. Okay. Then the next thing I would say is look yourself in the mirror. you'd be surprised how hard that just one task to do, like to actually see yourself in the mirror. If you can do that and then just say simple things like, you're pretty, or you're beautiful, or even when you look in the mirror, let those negative thoughts come, but counteract them with some positive thoughts. You're like, when I was in school, they used to tell me I was my eyes were too big. They used to call me owl face and hoot at me. And so now I can look in the mirror and say, your eyes are beautiful. They're big, but they're beautiful. And so just little things like that, just to help you get over that. Even if it's like you're too big, then, okay, what can I do to counteract that? I can go on a diet. I can, if you don't like just the word of diet, just say, okay, I can drink more water.
Right.
Or, okay, I can not eat so much fried foods this week. Or I cannot do something. Just change your lifestyle. Even if it's something different as go a different way to work. Invoke some change into your life.
I love that.
Yes, absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
that.
So lastly, before we get out of here with you is, what would be some tips? Because you touched on it, but what would be some tips for some models as far as posing and technique? And like you talked about it a little bit, but really getting comfortable in front of that camera, because we talked about headshots and, you know, different essentials that you need when you talk about being in business or being a model or entertainer. So what are some of those pose techniques that you would provide?
One, you have to know your body. And two, get into someone's pose class, because that's going to be your best option, because they can critique you and tell you, don't do this,
Right.
your body type needs this, things of that nature. So definitely invest in yourself. If you're not going to invest in you, no one else is going to invest in you. So as a model, you're going to pay out do research first, but you're going to definitely pay out some money. So make sure you are investing in yourself. My other thing would be to sit in the mirror and look at yourself, and like see yourself pose. Look how you see yourself when you look how you see yourself in the mirror.
Right.
So, if that looks appeasing to you, practice like that. If that looks appeasing to you, then it'll come across great on the camera.
Exactly.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. You was awesome.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah. So lastly, tell the viewers how they can find you.
I am on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram, The Vivacious Vixen, _Vivacious_Vixen, on both Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, we thank you so much for coming down to the corner.
Thank you. You guys have a great afternoon.
You do as well.
Bye-bye.
And coming up next now, we have artist, songwriter, and recording artist, Tonio Armani. When I hear that, I think,
Come on, Suave.
I think something rich. Very, very rich.
How you doing?
God is good.
Yes, he is.
Welcome to the
How
corner.
you doing, beautiful? How you doing? Magnificent.
Rico Smiley.
So we like to jump right into it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so tell the viewers, how did you get started in the music industry?
Well, I started off back in 2005. I was just playing around with music. I was singing in the shower like anybody else. And my dad was like, well, if you're going to be singing in the shower, you need to take it serious. I was singing Jamie Foxx, Unpredictable. They played that song like 40 times. And I was just singing it because I got tired of hearing it, so I just made a parody of it. And he said, you actually sound good while you're playing. And my first person that I started doing music with was Looney T. That was back when you had Lil Jon and the East Side Boys.
Okay.
And I started doing hooks and stuff for them. My first big feature I ever did when I was young Travis, because I was trying to rap and sing at the same time, was with Bo Hagan back in 2006. As far as that, when I didn't know the business of the music, so it's a lot of things that I didn't know. So now I'm learning. 10 years later, if you fast forward it now, I joined the military. And then, situations happen when I had to get my money up, because if you can't support yourself, how do you expect somebody to support what you're doing?
Right.
So situations happened to where my kid's mom, she got diagnosed with cancer, had to take a big break on my music. And it was a decision either going to take care of the family or do my music. I never knew how hard it was to be a woman. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of kids is something hard. So therefore, now I have the love and the respect for a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because single women, it's so much that you have to do to pretty much. You got to get a babysitter if you want to go out. You got to get the kids this. You got to take them to their appointments. If they're sick, you got to get them out of school. You got to focus on your job. You got to think about your job. It is so much. So therefore, I make music for women that that deserve somebody to make music for them. And I talk about a woman is the best thing that man can ever have made. So that's what I do my music for. I don't care about no dude. I'm making it for my ladies.
All right, we like it.
I love it.
So tell me about this name.
Tonio.
What was the inspiration for this name, Tonio Armani?
Well, let me see. I was young Travis, and I started to get a little bit older, a little bit more mature. I can't be young forever.
Okay.
My real name is Travis Gardner. If everybody went to school with me, they know me as Travis Antonio Gardner. That's where Antonio came from.
Okay.
So I took the AN off and just named it Tonio. In the South, we always give you a nickname. So they call me Tony. So I said, Tonio. I said, what goes good with Armani? So I was like, you know what? Tonio Armani, and I started saying it. And I told my graphic designer to start showing me pictures with it. And, it took a minute, but people thought I was Mexican. People thought I was Latino.
Right.
And it's a good thing because I don't want to be put in a box.
Okay.
I love it, and I love when a woman says, hey, how you doing, Tonio Armani? And I said, how you doing, baby? How you doing? So it stuck with me, and I just thank everybody for, supporting what we got going on right now.
I like it. We just talked about brands, but just like you just said, I love the fact that you said it took you outside the box. Because when you hear the name, you don't know what culture, you just say, okay, that sounds rich.
That's it.
So, being an artist, you have to, I think nowadays, have to have a strong presence on social media.
Yes.
So tell us, what are some social media strategies that you use as an artist that sets you apart from your competitors?
Honestly, I make a post 3 times a day. And I know a lot of people get irritated when they see it, but I post 3 times a day because some people don't see it in the morning, some people don't see it in the afternoon, some people don't see it at night. So I give you opportunity to see what I got going on at least 3 times a day. Then you get it in these groups, and then you get it in groups that will share. You just don't get it in groups. You get in a 20, 30 groups that don't share. It makes no sense. So therefore, you get people that support what you're doing to help you share this, because I might know somebody that you don't know.
Okay.
But it all helps in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So sharing in groups are good, but also doing sponsored ads on social media, Facebook and Instagram, that helps. You spend $20 at KFC. If you want to promote yourself, put $20 into yourself, and then you hit the demographics, and then you figure out who you trying to reach, what age you're trying to reach, what people you're trying to reach. If you're going, I got a show out of town, I'm going to target that city. You know what I'm saying? I put $20 to $40 to $100, whatever, and it changes. It shows you who listening to you. So you ain't got to work and focus on, they don't like me in this city, they don't like me in this city, and it shows you where they love you at.
You know what? I'm so proud of what you just said, because we had a whole lot of guests on this show.
Yes, ma'am.
And what you broke down is social media marketing 101.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you just, Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn, they are free, right? But you get the most exposure when you invest your money into those brands. Yes. And I liked how you broke down. What exactly you're supposed to do on those particular websites, because sponsored ads is essential. Yes. And a lot of brands are not doing that.
Yes.
Right. The challenges that you have faced, especially being a male recording artist that's making music that's for women.
What type of genre? You know what I'm saying? Like, I tried The Voice, I tried American Idol. They said that I sound soulful, but I look young. Okay. So next weekend, I'm going to try out for Making the Band with P. Diddy. Okay. And we're going to see, we're trying to put Columbus on the map. We want people to understand there were only 2 to 3 people that ever made it out of Columbus. It was Chili, and it was Kim Porter, and I want to be the next.
Okay.
So therefore, we're just trying to do something that is bigger than just me. We're doing this for the whole city. We're doing it for my kids. We're doing it for my lady. We're doing this for everybody that support what we're doing. But the hardest thing is people put you in a box. Like I said, like I want to do March Madness, but it's because I do R&B. They don't see that I do hip hop and R&B.
Okay.
I want to do Southern Soul shows, but at the same time, it's like, but you do R&B. So therefore, I'm trying to do something to where I can bring all of it together. R&B is rhythm and blues. Southern Soul is blues. Southern is neo soul. I'm trying to bring all that together, hip hop. You got the young generation taking over social media, so you got to be hip to what's going on. You can't be stuck in the 90s and the 80s if you're not bringing a new flair to it. So therefore, what I am doing is bringing 90s music. That was when the music was at its best. 80s and 90s music, when they were singing about love.
Right.
And I just took on the challenge. If they don't want to talk about it, I will. Because women want to hear you talk about how much you love them, how much you appreciate them, how much you need them, how much you can't go another day without her. You know
All right. We love it.
Oh, I do. And then y'all didn't catch that phase in there when he said, I'm doing it for my lady. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So that's real cool.
It is. It definitely is.
So what would your advice be for someone who's starting out in the music industry?
Find your sound. Find your sound. Find somebody, if you have a team, find somebody in your team that is not a yes man and tell you the truth. A lot of artists are out here that suck. I'm sorry. You suck. But therefore, with social media, it makes it easier because it's like being in high school again. You got to be the favorite. You got to be the likable. And then you got a lot of artists that have the talent, but they don't have the platform. So therefore, like I just went viral on Instagram 3 days ago. I was singing a song from Faith Evans.
Okay.
And they saw it. I was just vibing. I had just broke up with my lady, and I was just thinking about the times that I had with her and the small things, like I come home and she have food ready for me, and I started singing about it. And a year later, they picked it up, and I went viral. Now I went from 2,000 to almost 10,000 followers in 1 week.
Okay.
So therefore, we're trying to do the same thing with Facebook, but Facebook is so personal. It's like because you know me, and you went to school with me, or you work with me, you won't support me.
Right.
So therefore, I focus on outside of Columbus. I love my city. It's tatted all over my chest. But it makes no sense to produce stuff in Columbus that they don't support. You know what I mean? They support what they want to support, and that's fine. I thank God that they support something. But I need the city to support everybody that has a Black-owned business, because we can't do this without people's support. They don't understand that. They think it's always so expensive or whatever the case may be, but we're spending money too to give you something. You know what I'm saying?
You know what?
Absolutely.
Man, you hit something there, because people don't even realize that, right? Because you could think about even talking about, our show,
Yes.
right? It costs money to do this show.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? It costs money. You have to get your hair done, your makeup done. You have to have a videographer. You have to, I have to have gas to get here. It's just different things that you have to invest. It costs money to get a graphic produced, so people don't think about what it costs for you to put on for your city, or to even to educate your city, or to do that. And I don't think it's just Columbus. I think it's, I think people have that anytime they're from a particular town. They say, your hometown really rarely ever supports you. And I think that's, all the way around. But it's, it's about what you just said when it comes to, getting outside of the area. Don't just focus on one area, and doing a lot of the things that you mentioned previously, even what you talk about the sponsor ads and why they're important, because at the end of the day, you can reach different demographics, but you just keep pushing. But since you saw Mr. Suave, go on and hit a note for us.
Let's see, since we got a whole bunch of ladies in here, let's see, get my body right.
Wait, what you got? What you got for us?
Can we talk for a minute?
Girl, I want to know your name. Can we talk, baby? Baby, can we talk for a minute, baby? Yeah. I am Tonio Armani.
Okay, now.
Blew us away.
All right.
Are we still in the seat?
Hey, we still doing it every day. We still doing it every day. I love my women because they support. They buy your merchandise. They do everything. Man, we got to step up, man. We got to step up. We tripping, bro. The women killing us right now. So we got to step it up, man. We're trying to bring some real R&B back. I know y'all listen to R&B music. Stop acting like you don't. We're gonna bring it back, and if you love your lady, play my music.
All right.
Gotcha.
So wrapping it up, tell them how they can get your music and how they can find you.
I try to make it easy. I am Tonio Armani. It's on all stream platforms. It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. It's on Tidal. It's on Pandora. That's how you say it. And it's on Amazon. It's on Google Music. It's on whatever you have, what type of phone you have, what type of CD player, whatever you got going on. It is out there for your reach. You just got to go get it. I also have hard copies. I also have a website. I try to keep it simple because I know when it's too hard, it's like I ain't got time. But I got 2 albums out. I got an R&B album called Love and Relationships. It's all 90s music from Casey and JoJo to Jodeci to you got H-Town. You got some Tony on it. And then I got some Southern Soul when I'm singing songs like I ain't gonna bump no more with no big fair woman. That's for my older crowd, you know what I'm saying? They like that type of, I'm making good music for good people. We got too many people dying. We got too many people losing their lives and stuff like that. So when I come to town, it's going down.
All right. Lastly, you said you had a show coming up, so tell them where that next show is so they can get it live like we just did.
Well, I got another show I'm doing with a live band. It would probably be Saturday because Friday, like I said, I want the city to support what I'm trying to do. And we need more singers to come to Atlanta next weekend, to the Making the Band tryouts because there's a lot of people that need an opportunity. If you don't get out there, it's on you. But I will be up there for the city. I will be up there. I'll be standing in the line with my number. I'm not famous yet. They say I am, but I don't feel it yet. But when I get the opportunity, I'm going to make sure I can help the people that ain't getting the help not right now. But if you're doing that, please, if you love what you do, try out, man. What can you go wrong? They might tell you no, don't give up, keep going. I love y'all.
All right now. Well, we about to be out here, but if you're looking for us, you can find Gwinnetta Wright on all social media outlets at Gwinnetta Wright. And you also can find Gwen Business Corner at Gwen Business Corner. And you can visit our website at www.gwenbusinesscorner.com.
And you can find me at all social media outlets at The Real Deontay B. And, we want you to stay photogenic this season. Getting ready for the spring. This is Gwen's Business Corner with Deontay B. See you next time.